Have you always thought Trey would hit for this much power?
I have. I mean, he's done it in BP. Um, he's turned himself into a guy who was a good frame, but fairly lean, almost bordering on skinny kid to what he looks like now. And I mean, him and Chris Moore and a few of those other guys, again, that joke, they look like they could go across the street and put on some pads. So I think a lot of what's come in fashion that's a little, I wouldn't say surprising, but it's been fun to watch is his mentality. He's really progressed from what most freshmen come in, I got to bide my time and don't step on anybody's toes, to he's always had great character, but now he's got strong character on the field. And I think it permeates, to his teammates as well. Obviously, it helps his performance, but I think it affects the other guys in a leadership form too.
4 straight really impressive midweek starts for Xander. Would you like to keep him in that role, or do you think he's maybe earning some weekend innings at this point?
Well, we kind of look at how Friday and Saturday go when he's not available, and then kind of roll with that. So this past weekend, with the weather being the way it was, we just had him throw a bullpen on Saturday to be fully ready for today. Didn't mess with the doubleheader, but I think we'll just kind of play our hand on the weekend and see how it is. But he's typically a strike thrower. He's got confidence and is not scared, which is at a premium in college sports. I don't care what anybody says. So he's got a lot of things that we can utilize or use in a competitive situation. And dang well in our league, it's competition from the word go.
It's Christian Morgan moving to the age moving forward.
I think same thing. We'll kind of play our hand with situations. He's getting more familiar with left field, which is nice. He's a high school shortstop that is more than capable at second base. I think I'd put the other two guys slightly ahead of him defensively, but if you remove those guys from our team, I'd feel more than comfortable with him playing defense at second. And then pinch hitting too, he's a weapon. A lot of teams in this league got a Will Mabry or a guy who comes out of the bullpen as a lefty. So I think the bottom line is we just want to keep using him in as many situations as possible. But I don't think anybody on our team or any of you guys is going to bat an eye twice if he's not in that DH spot.
What have you learned about the team now heading in the SEC play this weekend?
I just think we've got the questions you want answered up until this point. I mean, if you win the national championship, maybe you don't have any questions, but if you lose the national championship game, you probably say, man, maybe we should have used this guy in this, or maybe that we wore this guy down. So there's always questions as a coaching staff you're looking to have resolved. And I think going into this weekend, I think at this point, we kind of know who a lot of our starters are, who a lot of our, our starting pitching on the mound, kind of have the bullpen thing sorted out. And there's almost no chance all that stuff will stay in place based off our coaches meeting we'll have tomorrow morning. But it's kind of nice that these kids have brought a level of consistency to where each of those names y'all have brought up and other guys, we know what we're getting out of them. So then it's up to us to decide whether, we want them in this spot or that spot. And if they do well, we'll look dumb. And if they do well, then we'll take, or if they don't do well, I guess we'll look dumb. But if they do well, we'll take credit as the coaches for the win.
I mean, you mentioned starting pitching there. What do you expect from your freshman starters this weekend?
To basically kind of pitch the way they have. I mean, it's not an exciting answer because I don't think there's any excitement when you watch them. You kind of know what you're going to get. The excitement comes from the ability or the capability of maybe having a strong performance, but there's not a lot of erratic behavior or unknown type of behavior you get out of those kids. They, in an easier, simpler way to say it, they act like sophomores or really upperclassmen. So all three of those guys, they're young. Doe's still fairly new to some things too around here. It's his first year here, is another simple way to put it. So we'll see how it goes, but I don't expect any surprises behavior-wise.
How excited are you that you don't have to sit here and talk to us about going on the road to start the weekend for the first time?
More like relieved or whatever. I mentioned something to somebody within the league, and it kind of, I wasn't treated rudely or anything, but it was kind of like, who cares, or that's not anything. But it's a big deal. I mean, if you gave a team 18 home games and 12 road games every year in this league, the way this league is a battle and it's tough to win every place on the road, they would have success consistently year in and year out. So, when Friday starts, for any team around the league, regardless of where the game's played, each team has a 50-50 chance of winning, but you certainly kind of would like to be in your own backyard, and we're going to do that for the first time in a long time, as you mentioned.
Coach, a lot of talk about the transition of Blade and Seth coming back into the rotation. Where do they stand injury-wise now?
Both guys are, in my mind, healthy, throwing. Blade is on the mound. Seth is about to be on the mound. So then there's some few steps to kind of build up and let those guys do that. But you can, I don't mean to speak for them, but you kind of see the look in their eye that they want to take care of themselves, because to me, both those kids can pitch for a long time. So they've not done anything to put themselves in harm's way at any point. But I think now we're at a point where they're sitting and they're watching and they're cheering, and they don't like it anymore. There's a role for everybody. I was a cheer guy more than I had the ball in my hand striking guys out, but I think they're starting to get anxious. So it'll probably be more up to us to temper that a little bit, and let's check all the boxes or meet all those steps along the way of being ready. And then when they are ready, it'll probably be one inning at a time type of deal.
You got to feel strong with how the bullpen has gone for you guys. I mean, even trying to get guys like that incorporated back in, that's going to be a tough balancing job for you.
Yeah, I mean, you'll take problems like that any day of the week. So honestly, we haven't even got to that for whatever reason, no one has brought that up in the office. I mean, it's kind of, if they're involved, but otherwise the guys we have are the guys we have. And I think for us, it's just more exciting about, we thought Xander could be a weekend starter here, a starting pitcher here, and he's showing that, even though, I get what day he threw on, but you know what I mean. Ben Joyce kind of alerted everybody, this guy's new to it. Well, he's starting to rack up some repetitions, and he's fresh, but I wouldn't say new anymore, whatever the word progression is there. So little things like that have been more exciting than anything to us. And again, if we get problems based off too many guys are throwing well, we'll be in a very rare category in the country, and we'll take it.
Any word on Drew Gilbert yet?
Yeah, he was available to pinch hit tonight. We'll let 2 days of practice dictate how that increases, but he's been taking swings. For everybody knows how Drew is. For who he is as a person, it's been amazing to see how settled he's been about, okay, this is what I got to do in the training room. This is what they're letting me do today, but no more, no less. And he's done the right things, and all of it has been put in place to have him ready for Friday. So he'll participate in some form or fashion this weekend. We'll just kind of let the next 2 days be our guide more than anything.
Early thoughts on South Carolina, Sanders, their freshman shortstop that's turned some heads early?
Braswell. Yeah, he's a stud. I mean, defensively and offensively, and I'm ignorant to the fact that this is a possibility, but I believe he's pitching for him too.
A little bit.
So we've kind of looked at some of the other pitchers just briefly, because their game times, they played late into Sunday, and we finished early on Sunday. So saw a couple innings of that deal. I think it's pretty easy. They beat the number one team in the country. And everyone knows it's tough to win in Columbia, South Carolina, but baseball is baseball, and we've seen Texas up close. They're talented, well-coached, and experienced. So they're capable of beating anybody in the country or anybody, but I feel like the way our kids have played too, they're capable of great things. It's a matter of just going out and playing ball, and we get to do it at Lindsey Nelson Stadium, as you said.
Just one more question.
How excited are you for the atmosphere? It's going to happen on Friday, the kind of main block party?
Yeah, these boys are still on spring break 22. So my first thought was, what do we got to do to get the most out of Wednesday? But as I was coming off the field, as you mentioned, they said the block party's going on Friday on that street, and I didn't know that was going on, to be honest with you. That's administration and all that. They've gotten creative ideas up there, and I'm happy for the return of that. First of all, that means the first one went well, and then two, I think it means they think a lot of bodies can fill that place up over there. And I think it's perfect. I mean, that road might end up getting blocked off permanently for things like this and football and basketball games. So maybe we're starting a new tradition, but I'm excited for the people that'll get to go over there. Unfortunately, I'll be filling out the lineup or doing some coachy stuff, unless I get thrown out of the game, and then maybe we'll sneak over there.
Go ahead.
If you won your 150th career game here at Tennessee, what does that mean to you with all the players that have come through here and the coaches you've had with you?
Well, I joked yesterday I was recruiting, and I spoke with Coach Delmonico about a bunch of different things. I'll shorten the story, but we're a long way away from doing what that guy did here. So I'll leave it at that. And then also, I think it's pretty cool that this team has, after last year, how exciting that team was, and there was just there was fans that hate Tennessee that like that team. I know that for a fact. But that was last year, and it's over with. And the year before was a pretty special team too. So it's just nice that this team has carved out their own niche. I think they've got as strong a camaraderie as any team, that we've had here. We'll see when they're challenged a little bit more if they get closer together or blend further apart. So it's corny coaching stuff, but it's really become a present moment team without us harping on present moment. So I think that's kind of where everybody's at right now.